Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. And yes, I'm back. I took a little break. I've had the busiest week. Okay, so like a couple days ago was my birthday. I turned 46 and I've been socializing all week. Today's Friday, so I do not know when you guys will see this video, like maybe tomorrow or Sunday, but we'll see. By the way, the book club is back on Sunday, so see you ladies there soon. But in this video, I'm going to reply to a question that I got under one of my videos. I can't remember exactly which video this question was from, but I already screenshotted the question. I don't think you guys can see it, so I'm going to read it from here. Give me a second. Okay, let's read this question. All right, so Maria, that's me. Would you consider doing a video explaining how to make sacrifices to get what you want without losing yourself? One of the primary things I struggle with is the idea of changing myself in order to gain monetary things. Having to put on a costume or perform in order to attract more money. It might sound cynical, but I hate having to care about what a man finds attractive and catering to his gaze. It makes my skin crawl, but I know getting to the bag with them requires sacrifice. So let's talk about this. I'm going to read a quote by Bob Proctor, but before I do, the law of sacrifice basically came from New Thought Hermetic philosophy. Okay, so it's not a universal law per se. All right, but I'm going to read some quotes from the Kabbalion. Kabbalion. I have the Kabbalion somewhere on here. So, Hermetic philosophy teaches the principles of correspondence and polarity, suggesting that gain often follows loss. And the energy exchange is real. You don't get something for nothing. Clearly, right? So, it's not a law of sacrifice per se, but it's embedded in the energetic principle of exchange and transmutation. So, let me just read this real quick. All right. So Bob Proctor, who taught the law of attraction, frequently mentioned the law of sacrifice. The law of sacrifice states that you must give up something of a lower nature to gain something of a higher nature. So this was often used to justify giving up bad habits, beliefs that are not serving you, or what's the word I'm looking for? Guys, hold on. Or basically the comfort zone, okay? Because a lot of people are in a comfort zone and they don't even know it. All right, so now that I've done that, let me answer your question, because this is an important question and I want you all to understand the nuance of this. All right, because some people do not know the difference between making a sacrifice or selling themselves. Okay, so is it sacrifice or is it selling out? Let's talk about it. But before I answer your question, let's go back to what you said. You said that you hate having to care about what a man thinks or what he likes in order for you to attract his gaze or something like that, right? What we, as women, we tend to overlook is that men of certain caliber, the men that we like to call high value men, a lot of these men sacrifice a lot in order for them to get access to the women and the things and the lifestyle that they want. These men will sacrifice their time, their health, so men also sacrifice their youth, their peace, and a lot of things men often sacrifice in order to gain status and become the best version of themselves. Yes, men do sacrifice, okay, and a lot of them sacrifice their money as well. So the men that don't, we find them very repulsive and absolutely disgusting, okay? For example, the men that want to go on a date with you, but they don't want to sacrifice their time, or they don't by driving to you like an hour away. They want you to drive to them instead, or they don't want to sacrifice their money. They don't want to take you on a date where they have to spend their money. They want to take you on a walk or a coffee date. We find these men absolutely disgusting and unappealing. Okay, so think about it. The women that expect men to, especially high quality men, to accept them at their lowest, okay, like accept them at their heaviest weight, accept them when they don't love themselves, accept them while they're in survival mode. Because first of all, a high value woman is not living in survival mode. She is not, okay? She knows how. Do I need my ring light? It's like 3 in the afternoon. Like, why is it so dark? And I already started filming, so I don't know what to do. Like, should I get my ring light, y'all? Anyways, like I was saying, The men that don't want to sacrifice their time and energy, that don't want to put in effort, the men that don't want to pursue you, and the men that want you to do all the chasing, those are the men that don't make sacrifices for you, and we find these men absolutely repulsive, especially if you're a woman that has been working on yourself for a long time. You've been making the sacrifices, okay? Sacrificing your comfort zone, sacrificing, a lot of things that are preventing you from becoming the best version of yourself. You find it absolutely repulsive. So don't you think that the men that you are trying to pursue, but you don't want to make sacrifices, like, don't you think that they are also going to find you repulsive? Like, I don't know. Okay, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. This is not a man-hating channel, despite what many people may think based on, past content that I've made. I don't bash men. I just speak the truth about men because I understand the truth about men and I understand the shadow side of men. I really do. So, that's something that I want you to think about. Okay, think about that. And now I'm going to go on to answering the question. So, yes, there is some sort of law of sacrifice, even though it's not a universal law, but I guess you can interpret that when you read, the laws of polarity, etc. But you're not selling your soul, you're not performing or putting on a mask, okay? If you're making the sacrifices from a good place, then it could never be from selling out. It could never be selling out. Like I was saying, you don't have to sacrifice your core essence, like who you truly are at your core. But you have to sacrifice the version of yourself that thinks that you are unworthy, or that you're invisible, or that is above strategy. Okay, because what I'm getting is that you believe that you are above being strategic, you are above sacrificing, you are above making uncomfortable choices and decisions that is going to get you to where you want to be. Because in order for you to have the things that you want in your head, the things that you want, you have to become that version of yourself in order for you to attract that thing or to have that thing. Okay, so let's say your money's up, your body T, the guy you're dating is the guy that you've always wanted, the type of guy that you dream of dating. Just think of those three things and think of the type of person that have those things. Think of the version of yourself that have those things. Is she the type of girl that doesn't want to make sacrifices, that doesn't want to use strategy? Is she the girl that lays on the couch eating chips and binge watching Netflix? Is she the girl that is scrolling on social media for hours every single day? Is she the girl that wakes up and stays in her pajamas all day? Like, you have to answer these questions because you have to know that version of yourself. You have to have a picture of that version of yourself. What does she do? What are her hobbies? What kind of work does she does? What does her hair look like? What does her skin look like? You have to figure that out. Get you your journal, and this is a journal prompt. Like, what does the highest version of myself, what does she look like? What is she into? What kind of work does she does? Like, how much money does she have in her bank account? What kind of man is she dating? Is she married? What is she doing? Okay, so the highest version of yourself, you have to have an idea of what that is. You need to write it down, because if you don't know, you're just going to be walking around in circles. The highest version of yourself is not afraid of making tough decisions, and she's not afraid of giving up things that doesn't align with that version of herself. Okay, so sometimes you do have to make the sacrifice. So instead of making a sacrifice for a man, make it for yourself. Just know that if you do not give up the things that is keeping you back from becoming that version of yourself, if you don't give it up now, you will never get there, regardless if it involves a man or not. You're never going to get there. And we have to remember that men also do it too. Men sacrifice too. Okay, and when it comes to a woman grooming, because I feel like most people think that when a woman is doing things to attract a certain caliber of man, they think it's selling out or it's being performative or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's the attitude behind the act itself. You have to position yourself for access. You have to position yourself to have access to the things and the life that you want. Because if you don't, it's never going to happen. It's never going to come to you, ever. So you have to know the difference between performing and positioning. Okay, because you mentioned performing in your comment. I think there's a difference, right? Performing is exactly how you state it, okay? Acting, faking, wearing a mask, okay? Positioning, on the other hand, is enhancing who you are to be legible and attractive to the people who are in the rooms that you want to be in. If you want to be in those rooms, you have to match these people on an energetic level. Because if you go into that room with your current state of mindset consciousness, it's going to be like oil and water. It doesn't mix, okay? So you have to position yourself, okay? Watching a video like this is helpful. Learning etiquette is helpful. Understanding the hidden rules of class is also helpful, because I have a video about that on my Patreon. I'm about to wrap up my social climate series, The Aspiring Socialite, on my Patreon. So I already have a bunch of videos on there in that series on how to social climb. So are you investing in yourself? Are you investing in the future that you are trying to build for yourself? Are you reading the right books? Are you following the right content creators? Are you seeking out the right mentors? What are you doing? So for example, if you want to date a man who values elegance, wearing silk and pearls is not a performance. It's not fake. It's intelligent alignment, okay? You are aligning yourself. But you are still you. You are still your authentic self. Okay? There's a difference between being fake and becoming the best version of yourself. I do not know why people think becoming the best version of themselves is such a huge sacrifice and it's fake and not worth it. Like, this is what Hollywood and society want you to believe. Hollywood and society wants you to be the worst version of yourself, and then someone will accept you regardless. Because we've all seen those rom-com videos where the girl is a blundering idiot and she still gets the guy. Where she has no prospects, no education or nothing. She's a maid, cleaning hotel rooms, but she gets the rich guy with the connections and who comes from the wealthy family. That's unrealistic at best. But the sacrifices that you are making, it should be strategic. It shouldn't be soul draining. Okay, you shouldn't feel like if you are selling your soul, or it feels like a lot. Because if it feels like a lot and it's too much to bear, because making sacrifice is going to be uncomfortable. But if it's like way too uncomfortable, then maybe you are not in alignment. I don't know. So when I say sacrifice is strategic, obviously don't sacrifice your voice, your integrity, your values. Like, that's not something that you want to sacrifice, okay? Because your core values are very important. Like, let's say for example, you find yourself in a circle of wealthy people, but all of them are doing drugs, but you don't do drugs because that's part of your value. Then that doesn't mean that you should do drugs with them too. And no, I'm not saying to do that, okay? But your value, and also you have to know what your values are, because a lot of y'all don't know yourself. But yes, you will have to sacrifice. You may have to sacrifice hyper independence. You have to sacrifice that rebellion. You have to sacrifice that old version of yourself, or the current version of yourself, because the current version of yourself is not getting you anywhere. It really isn't. And I'm going based on your comment. And again, this video is no judgment, okay? Like, I'm making this video from a place of love, because I want you to understand why sacrificing certain things are super, super important, especially when you have to get somewhere in life. Men that do not make the sacrifices, they don't get anywhere. They don't go very far. A lot of them end up settling for women that they don't want. A lot of them are statistics because they are in the incel community or part of the lonely men epidemic BS. A lot of these men have baby mamas that they hate because they know they don't want to make the sacrifice to become the best version of themselves. So they will just settle for a bunch of women that they don't want, because to them it has become comfortable. It's the comfort zone. So yes, women do make a lot of sacrifices, but men do sacrifice too. The men that you want are men that knows what it's like to sacrifice. They know what it's like to cut the old version of themselves. They know what it's like to cut off friends and sever ties. They know what it's like to lose friends while on the way up. They know. So in essence, the real you should be evolving. You should be evolving and becoming better. You do not devolve. You do not become worse or stay stagnant. You have to keep evolving. So becoming the version of the woman that has the things that you want, it really means, and it all boils down to letting go and sacrificing the version of yourself that didn't have those things. A lot of us are stuck in our comfort zone. We don't want to take action, we don't want to move forward because we are coming from a place of fear or defiance or rebellion. Like that defiant attitude that a lot of women have, like they're gonna like me for who I am. I don't care, I'm gonna go to the airport in a bonnet. Why do I have to make myself look pretty and presentable? Even though they know that we live in a world where people get judged based on their appearance, unfortunately. And this is one of the things that Shira has always said, because Shira has always said that you gotta look good, you gotta look your best. You basically gotta make the sacrifice. You have to put aside money to go get your hair done, your nails done, get your skincare and stuff like that. Like, you have to do that type of stuff if you want to attract a certain caliber of men, okay? And not just men. When you do this, like, the more you invest in yourself, the more you attract in your life. You attract more attention, you attract more money, you attract more opportunities. So wouldn't you want that? Let's decenter men in the situation right now. Like, let's just say you're making the sacrifices for yourself. Like, you wouldn't believe how much easier my life became when I started sacrificing and investing in myself. So when I really decenter men and center myself and started sacrificing for myself and doing things for myself, investing in myself, the quality of men that I attracted was so different. And that was something that I did unintentionally. Like, I didn't know that I would be attracting a different type of men. Like, I really didn't. So honestly, like, I really hope that this video answered your question. I want you to let go of that mindset, because I mean, I feel like there's some kind of fear there. Okay, the fear of success. You know, a lot of people are afraid of success because, you know, it's psychological, right? And I'm not going to get into it. But I don't know. Like, I honestly do not know what else to say other than what I've already said. I really hope that this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's all for today. Thanks for watching.